I chose Apollo to become a director and to invest in the company basically because I've met some of the key people, and particularly some of the key scientists, and I became very interested in what they were working on, and I became very impressed with their capabilities. And I found Apollo to be a company with an exciting future. And I think for its size, I think my view was it had more opportunities for product development and an ability to create something meaningful in this world than many other companies that are much, much larger. Well, with my involvement with Macquarie Bank, I have a limited amount of time available to sit on external boards. So I had to be very careful about which company I selected. I was very interested in Apollo from the day that I first met some of the staff. And I found that, in particular, the scientists that I met were very interesting people, and they were working on a number of initiatives that were world-class initiatives. And I saw the company as, I thought, having a number of opportunities to grow in the future, opportunities perhaps that were much greater than many other companies many times their size. I found that with my involvement with Macquarie Bank, I don't have a lot of time, so I have to select the opportunities that I spend my time on very carefully. And when I first looked at Apollo and I was given an opportunity to invest and become a director in this company, I spent quite a considerable amount of time talking to the staff and in particular the scientists. And I found on talking to the scientists that the matters that they were working on and the range of matters that they were doing research into were really sensational. And I thought that in many ways this company had so much potential if it could develop some of these new initiatives. And in many ways I thought this company had a lot more potential to develop new products than companies many times its size. I think Apollo is unique because it's working on a range of products. In many ways it's a multi-dimensional product range that is going to affect, hopefully, the well-being of people for many, many decades to come. It's not a single product, but there are many products out there that are going to affect the way that we currently view wellness and health in the future. So that's part of the exciting scenario with Apollo. Well, we would hope that in the future that if we can see some of these opportunities actually be successful in the marketplace, Apollo has the ability to actually have more than a single source of cash flow. And again, I think that's one of the exciting opportunities for this company. While it's in its very early development stages, the potential with Apollo is that it could actually have income coming from several sources into the future, which is a lot more than many startup companies would hope for. Well, I think that the ability to be able to create products that do away with the need of people to take injections is obviously an area that will have a lot of satisfaction in the marketplace. It's an area that I don't think has been researched all that well historically, and I think it's groundbreaking technology. And it's just another example of how Apollo has been working on initiatives that can change the way that we look at traditional medicine. Look, I think that all new companies go through a phase where they go through a start-up phase before they can go into a cash flow phase. Apollo is going through that phase at the moment. I think what you need to have is confidence that a company can move from that initial lack of cash flow into real cash flow. And that only comes about by having good products and good research. In Apollo's case, I think given the right time and given the right capitalisation, I would be very comfortable that Apollo has a long-term future. And the cash flow will come if the products are good enough. And from what I've seen, I believe the products will be good enough. I can only go on what I've seen. And from what I've seen is very positive research that's been presented to the board on the products, and from the research and the testing and the counter testing that I've seen, the products are very impressive. Well, again, it's exciting. All you can say is that a combination of delivery systems and the products is very, very exciting, and the range of potential products that are being investigated is very wide. And I think the wider the range, the more appeal they're going to have in the genuine marketplace. So again, it's exciting. I coming from a background that's a non-medical background, I find the products that are being proposed and the research that is being undertaken quite difficult to comprehend. And I look at it and I ask the question, on a global basis, why haven't many of these things been discovered earlier? Well, that's what do I as a director bring to Apollo? That's a very difficult question. I think all I can bring to Apollo as a director really is a little bit of commercial acumen. I don't have an expertise in the medical area. I don't have an expertise in the research area, but I do have an expertise in general finance and business, particularly international business. And so if I can add a little bit of guidance in that regard to some of the new product developments that are being undertaken, then I think I can add some value. I think with my background in international business and finance, I'm hoping that I can bring some of those skills to the board of Apollo to try and help them understand a little bit better how they can integrate into international business. And I think if I can do that and add that to the skills that are already on the board, particularly with regards to medical science and research, hopefully we can work together to create a brighter future. Biotech companies are risky by nature. But at the end of the day, part of the excitement about investing in a startup biotech company is that you can actually be part of some pretty radical change if it is successful. And I think investment is a lot more than just simply having a guaranteed return. If I wanted a guaranteed return, I'd go and put my money in the bank. So I think there are opportunities with investment to try and pick the products that are going to be world-class leaders, and if you can get them right, and if the team can perform, then you'll get an outstanding return. And that's, in this case, what I hope would happen with Apollo. From what I've seen on the research undertaken by Apollo into a range of new products, it seems to be a world leader. Well, I've chosen to become a director of Apollo and to invest in Apollo because I'm impressed with the products they're developing, and I feel that the products that they're developing will have some influence on the world in the future, and that makes me very happy to be involved.